Anybody have any announcements that we need to make to the club? Now's your chance. Okay, if not, Miss Anna, would you come up and introduce our program for today?
Alright guys, we have Miss Alise, Nolan is here. Today is time again for the Gilmer ISD Foundation fundraisers, the second annual one. Alise is going to tell us all about how you guys participate. I think last year was very successful. They raised, do you remember how much money for that? $25,000 in one event for the ISD, and Miss Alise will go into telling you what all that money gets spent for, but it was such a success last year. I know she wants to grow it this year, so everybody's participation would be great, so ask questions so we can kind of go out in the community and answer the questions that they're going to have released if we're the only one standing there. So, Alise, I'll let you come up and take the stage. Y'all should all have these on your tables.
Well, good afternoon. It's beautiful outside. That's Texas for you. We're going to be 60 or 30 degrees next week, but thank you so much for having me. Again, my name is Alise Nolan. I'm with the Gilmer ISD Foundation. I have been doing this for probably over 10 years, and in the past year, Mr. Watson, my supervisor, gave me the opportunity to kind of do that in conjunction with my job as an instructional coach at Gilmer ISD. And he knows, and a lot of you know, that I kind of have my hands in several different pots. I've assisted with the Charity Rose Festival in the past, and fundraising, as I call it, fundraising, is one of my passions. I love to raise money for worthy causes. And I truly feel that the Gilmer ISD Foundation has such an opportunity to impact Gilmer ISD, and we have over the years, and even more so in the past year in the new role that I've been able to serve in. So as Anna said, this is our second annual Crawfish Bowl. We had our first annual Crawfish Bowl last year, and I modeled this off of something that my husband is a part of in Longview. If you've heard of the Harvest Festival Crawfish Bowl, he heads that for the Harvest Festival. And to date, they have raised over $1 million in funds through the Crawfish Bowl. It is a huge, huge event that they have of the third weekend of April every year, and they have it at Mont Cobb. It's so big that they actually have two feeds. They do an afternoon feeding and they do an evening feeding. And they gave last year $90,000 in scholarships. So that is definitely something that we aspire to do with the Gilmer ISD Foundation, is to always be able to have the funds in our reserves to give more money back to our students and also give more money back to our teachers, because that is why we are here, is truly just to complement what our teachers are able to do in the classroom and support them and the students in any way that we can. So I wrote down a few of our accolades, so if you don't know what we do, I'll kind of let you kind of in on what we've kind of done to date. You have some forms at your sheet, so I'll talk about the Crawfish Bowl first. Last year, as Anna asked, we did raise $25,000, and that was through the generous support of our Gilmer community. We had banks such as the First National Bank of East Texas, my brother's law firms at R.T. & Young, Q-Tex, Credit Union of Texas, my own husband's Nolan Properties, giving anywhere from $2,500 to $1,500 TDR. And my goal is always to raise the money needed to fund the event, and then anything we make over that is pure profit for the organization, and that's what we're able to do. Because it will cost, last year it cost us about $12,000 to put on the event. This year it will be about 14 with the rise in what some things cost. So we are halfway there. Very excited. I sat down this morning and kind of looked over what's been donated so far, and I think we're not going to have any issue with raising the money that's needed to put on the event, and then be raising money beyond that with the table sales and such as that. As you'll see on your table, you have some hard copies and paper copies of this. If you'll take this back to your businesses and put this inside your like your workroom or your break room or something like that, or scan it and put it out to your staff. If you'd like me to email you this in PDF form, I can most certainly do that for you. You also have the Crawfish Bowl sign-up sheet here. And let me tell you a little bit about this. Last year, as I was trying to do the hard sale, and literally, you know, I find that, and I know you all probably know this as well, but people have a hard time telling you no to your face. And so I truly hit the road going to as many businesses as I possibly can to talk to them, tell them about the Gilmer ISD Foundation, what we do, what we fund, and to get them to be a part of this. Because I think Gilmer is we're putting on so many wonderful things that bring our community together, and that's what it's all about. So this is just another fun way to raise money for a worthy cause. I told Mr. Herman, I said, I feel like every time I see someone, I'm asking for money, but it's always for a good cause. So, with this Gilmer ISD Foundation Crawfish Bowl, if you're not a crawfish lover, we have jambalaya. My recipe, I promise you, it's really, really good, and my dear friend Lisa Davidson makes it for us. And so we have that for the non-crawfish lovers. If you say, this isn't a good weekend for me, we want to, help with the crawfish bowl, you can do that by event sponsorship. Someone said, oh my God, $12,000. Well, that's kind of my pie in the sky about what it costs to put one of these on. It's really about 14. That's $12,000 sponsorship for event sponsorship. We have champion, 5,000 and up, partner, which is 2,500, Buckeye Forever, 1,500, and sustainer is 1,000. That's just sponsorship. You have to buy a table beyond that because we have to, of course, fund this event. We have contributor for 500, donator, and we'll give $100. We'll take anything you want to donate, and we've had that already this year. One of the things I started doing last year when I was trying to do the hard sale and I'm going around the community, I would have people say, well, we can't be there, that's a busy weekend. I said, well, if you would like to donate, I'll tell you what we'll do. You buy a table, we'll turn around and we'll give that table to 8 teachers. And so one of the first 2 tables that we gave to last year were our brand new budding first year teachers. And they all got to come, have a little camaraderie, come to our crawfish bowl, and they had an absolute blast. So that's a really cool opportunity. If you don't want to come, it's not a good weekend, crawfish bowl just isn't your thing, then, buy a table and we'll donate it to our teachers in the district, and they absolutely loved it. So we were able to do that. We had 8 to 10 tables that people donated back and we donated to our teachers. So that was a really cool thing, and it really just kind of gives me chills because our teachers are very well deserved and they enjoyed the event. So, all the information is here. My information is at the bottom of the sheet along with my school email address. And if you want me to come by and pick up a check, or you want to mail it to us at the school, we've gotten quite a few that way. Please do that. If you have any questions, we are asking, just so that we can get the signs made, that if you do want to be on a sponsorship level, that you let me know that by about March the 6th, so we get our signs made and we're not rushing on that. But we will have it at the new Gilmer Event Center, which is absolutely perfect for this type of event. Our goal last year, my goal was initially to sell 30 tables. We sold 52. And so my goal this year is to sell 60. So I love and appreciate your support with that. I think we can get there very easily. So we're getting there. It's getting closer and closer. Crawdaddy's Crawfish will do the event for us. They did an amazing job last year. Really gave us, I felt like, a good price and did just an amazing, they had never done one that large. And so did a great job on that. We have Darren Morris. If any of you heard Darren Morris play before, he is a local guy. Wonderful Christian man, and he's going to do an acoustic set for us. And we talked about, not doing the drums because last year was so loud you could barely talk. So, but he's amazing. He's going to come. He's going to sing, and we listen to him all the time at different events. And I just think he kind of draws his own crowd. So I think that will help as well. So we're excited to have Darren Morris there. Some of the projects that we do, of course, we do the Crawfish Bowl. One of the projects is also very near and dear to my heart that we do through the Gilmer ISD Foundation is a TIP grant. And that's a teacher initiative project. And each April, I email out a grant application to all of our teachers at Gilmer ISD. And then they brainstorm with their group that they teach with, their grade level, or the content area that they're with, be it science, be it language arts, be it math, whatever it may be. And then they come up with a project that they feel is worthy of being funded. And then they turn that in, and then I have a team that will go in and they will evaluate their proposal, and then they're awarded a grant. Last year, we were able, because of a very generous donor, the Country Store here in Gilmer, if you're aware of them, they're one of our gaming institutions, and they gave us $2,000 to go toward the TIP grant. And so we were not only able to give one, but we did two. So we were very, very excited about that. One of the grants was actually for a science workshop that one of our teachers at the high school, who actually helped us with the Crawfish Bowl, that she went to, and then she was able, it's a STEM type program. She brought that back down to the high school, and then she's also sharing that with the junior high and the lower grades as they would like to listen to it. So very, very worthy projects. We've done the TIP grant for over 10 years. And so very excited about that. We've managed over the years several different scholarships. We've managed the Matt Camp Scholarship Memorial in his name. We funded more than 8 students, and literally, the Camp family, I believe, gave over like $25,000. So it's been a very worthy scholarship. We manage and distribute over the last, this will be our 2nd year, the Carson Barber Memorial Scholarship. Carson was a classmate of my daughter Audrey, and he sadly passed away after graduation, and his family in his memory raised money and put together a scholarship. And I reached out to them after his passing, and I said, you know, I think a very worthy way to honor his memory would be to put a scholarship together. And they were very thankful for that. And recently his grandfather passed away, so money from flowers that would have gone toward his memorial, the family put into the fund to go toward his scholarship. So last year, initially I wrote the scholarship up for them, got their approval, we tweaked it several meetings. Instead of giving 1 scholarship, they chose to give 2 because there were so many worthy applicants. We had over 20 students turn in scholarship applications, and they just did a phenomenal job. So they had a hard time choosing, so they chose 2 kids. And so it was just truly a blessing for those kids, and I think a blessing for them as well to, you know, to do that in his honor. We also manage, and will be distributing this year, another new scholarship, and it's also through the Country Store, who has given very generously to the Gilmer IC Foundation in the past year. We've developed a relationship with them that I'm very excited about, and they want to give what we're calling a non-traditional scholarship for students who want to go either into career and technology, cosmetology, lineman school. It could be for any type of certification that they want to have. So it'll be 5 $1,000 scholarships. And those scholarships are already at Gilmer High School. Kids are picking them up now. They've been sent to Rachel Stewart, our precious new English teacher for English 4. She's very great at what she's doing. She's really good about pushing those scholarships out to the students and talking it over with them. So we're excited about that. It's fun to work with Rachel on those as well. So we're super, super excited about that scholarship opportunity. We've also, in the past year, funded some computer programs and books for the GHS English department. You know, we put the money out there. We, through our administration, Mr. Albrecht and Mr. Watson, we let the principals know that there is money to be had, and if they have a need, then we'd like to know about that so we can help support that. And so they had that need, and so we took care of that for them and funded it for them. A really cool project that we did in December that I was very excited about, and this is through, so if you see Mr. Fox and the Country Store, they donated $2,000, and they wanted it specifically to go with children with autism. And so you may or may not be aware of this, but through Gilmer ISD, we have the co-op, the Upshur County co-op that has come into our system. And they take care of all the needs of all of the SPED population in Upshur County, Gladewater ISD, Union Grove ISD, Union Hill ISD, New Diana, you know, Harmony, all Gilmer ISD SPED classrooms. And so they were very specific that they wanted that money spent on those children with sensory needs. And so I reached out to Kathy Music, who works at the co-op, who used to be part of Gilmer ISD, and they put together kind of like a wish list of things that they would like. They got the requisition together, they wrote the check to us, and we wrote it out to Gilmer ISD, and we just got all the toys in and sensory objects the other day, and they've been distributed to the schools. So we'll have pictures in the newspaper. One of the criteria was that they had to all write a thank you note, because you know we're teaching kids how to act in the future. So very worthy project, very excited about that. I feel like that'll be an annual thing that they donate toward, and I just think it's absolutely wonderful. The Gilmer ISD is also very excited within the past year and a half to work with the Rotary Club, because through Jeff Hamilton, he came to me and said, you know, he said, we do something where we go out and we assist families and students of need in Upshur County. So we came up with a name, and we call it the Rotary Helping Hands Project. And it's to assist those students and families that need a little bit of extra support. So I believe today over $4,000 or so has been given out to the community. We house that money for you. Jeff will bring me the actual the request for funds through a sheet like this. It'll have all the information on it, and then we cut a check, and Jeff, being the giving person and truly that he is, he goes out and he supports those families in needs through your generosity through the Rotary Club. So we can't thank you enough for that. We're very excited to be helping the Rotary Club with that project. We funded this year, we're very excited, we're going to be funding 2 top percent designees at our top 10% banquet at Gilmer High School. So that's about $75 a piece. If you've never done that before and you want to be involved with that, you can contact Leah Erickson, our lead counselor at Gilmer High School, and she can help you sponsor a student. They get a blanket or a pillow if they're a junior or a senior. So we wanted to assist with that, so we gave money toward that this year to fund 2 of our very worthy students who worked hard to keep their grade point up. One of the things we're excited about this spring, and we've been in talks with Russell Thomas, who I know has been to Rotary Club and talked to you all about career technology at Gilmer High School, is we're going to be funding a college and career tech visit to like TSTC for students to be able to go actually to the school and see it firsthand. A very generous sponsor has donated lunch for that day and the cost that it will take to have the buses go to those colleges. So that's something that's very near and dear to my heart, because I remember back when I always say with my first daughter I learned, even though I was a college graduate, with my first daughter Alise, I remember when she was a junior, we were going to all the colleges and we were visiting everywhere, and I remember she looked at me and literally in her class, she had every doctor, lawyer, educated person in Upshur County in her class. She goes, my friends aren't doing this, why am I the only one doing this? I said, well, I want you to have choices. I want you to know where you want to go for sure. So we went to UT, we went to TCU, we went to all the schools. Ended up, she wanted A&M. It wasn't hard to bend her arm on that, but I wanted her to make sure that she knew exactly where she wanted to go in line and fit her ideals and her principles, and it did. So for me, myself, I see that as a need in Upshur County, because even though we have a lot of educated people and they've all been to college, it's not necessarily something they think about, and until you've had that first student, it's been a hot minute since you've had a child in college, and you forget about that. So taking them there, seeing the opportunities that they have, seeing the scholarships, seeing the housing and all of that, and getting your head wrapped around it as a junior is very, very important. So that's something that I feel is a need. So our donor also agreed with me, and so that's something we're going to be looking at this spring that I'm very, very excited about. We also manage funds from years ago with the Exxon Corporation. They gave us, and today we have about $26,000 in a fund that we utilize for the pond. If you didn't realize it, over by the intermediate school and the elementary school, there is a very pretty pond. And years ago, with money that we were able to get through, they wanted to donate, so we housed it through the foundation. We built a dock. We were able to fund different types of tools to use for aquatic science at the high school. And so that's something in the next couple of years that we'd like to continue and utilize that money if that type of class comes up again, or utilize that for like our FFA groups that do science fair projects. So we have to specifically use that money for the pond, so that we do house that money for them. So that was a very generous grant that we house for them as well. And then last, we also do the Gilmer ISD, they call it the Buckeye bricks. And so you've all got sheets at your desk. Kind of a little known fact, we haven't pushed this as much as we probably should, but we do the bricks as you enter Jeff Traylor Stadium. And you'll see them kind of on the side as you look up for the back of the press box. So if any of you would like to do a brick in memory of or in honor of a family, friend, community member, there's a sheet there. We'd love to have you do it. And we'll get those made, we'll get them set, and it'll forever be there, similar to what we do downtown on Square around the fountain. But I think that is about it that I can think of. Mr. Watson, can you think of anything I've left out or that I need to?
No, but while I have the opportunity, I will take an opportunity to say thank you to Alise. As y'all can see, she's a tireless worker. She's very passionate about what she does. We're lucky to have her, and I just want to thank you while I have the opportunity. Get this question a lot. The Gilmer ISD Foundation is not run by Gilmer ISD. I mean, this is a private, they have a board of directors, is that right, Alise? So we don't decide how the money's used, even though it says Gilmer ISD Foundation, it's not run by us, we don't decide how the money, their board of directors decides how that money's spent, so, that's just a pretty compliment, we get asked a lot.
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. I'm glad you brought that up. And also, we are looking at installing some new board members. If that's something that you feel very passionate about and would be interested in, please let me know. My email is here, my phone number as well, and we'd love to have you a part of the Gilmer ISD Foundation. We've got big plans. We want to raise as much money as we possibly can. When Mr. Watson came to me and said, hey, would you like to use some of your time working here to continue to raise more money for the school district? Of course, I was all in. But you know, some of these foundations, as he said, he'd been to a recent big conference, you know, they're raising over $1 million. And I know you can do it because I know what my husband's been able to do with the Harvest Festival, guys, and it's strictly from a crawfish bowl. And I mean, literally, I'm probably not even in the right range of how much money they've been able, well over probably $1.5 million that they've been able to raise over the years from a crawfish bowl. And being able to give back $90,000 to students is something I think we should all aspire to want to do. And so we're getting there. We're giving away 5 $1,000 scholarships to students this year that I'm super pumped about, and they're non-traditional students. Those kids normally don't get scholarships. And so, you know, the kiddos that make top 10%, they generally get their scholarships, but we want every kid to have the opportunity to go forward and do something with their life and not have it not be something they can't do because the funding wasn't there. Yes, Bethany?
2 notes on the crawfish boil as well. If you want to give a silent auction item or a live auction item, she will happily take those as well. If you have anything cool, live auction examples, if we had an artist that had a cool, unique painting of Gilmer ISD, anything really unique or an experience that people would pay for, and same with the silent auction, they'll take those. And then on top of her amazing notes, if you know people that want to sponsor, you can tell them what you want the money to go to. So for example, I know our uncle, he did it in honor of my grandmother, who's an educator, and she is obsessed with school supplies. So that money went all the school supplies for teachers. So if you know people that want to give to educators, you can tell her what the money goes toward and they'll earmark it.
I'm glad you said that, because another thing I wanted to mention as well is if you're interested in doing a scholarship to fund or honor, you know, fund an undeserving population or a certain population, and someone going into the education field, someone going into veterinary science, someone going to lineman school, whatever it may be, and you want to do that in honor or in memory of, please let us know. And we would love to set up a scholarship for that person in your life. And I have scholarship examples. That's what I did with the Carson Barber. That's what I did with the recent country store scholarship. So we can get together, we'll go over it together. We can make it look exactly like you want it to look, and we can give it for as long as you want to. So we'd love to be able to have that opportunity to fund more scholarships for students and get up. I'd love to surpass $90,000 and be able to give $150,000 of scholarships every year to our students in the area. Mr. Albritton, can you think of anything I left off?
Just one.
Yes, sir.
So every year, one of the things she asks me, and so I'm just gonna do an informal survey. I think everybody knows me, and I asked you to, in the old days, you described me as a two-toner. I don't drink, I haven't drunk, I never will. Just, I'm too old to start now, right? And so, it's called Gilmer ISD Foundation. So we don't really deal with liquor in any form or fashion. However, how many people would it offend if at the Crawfish Bowl, instead of going out to your car and filling it up and bringing it in a sealed container, if they did offer the sale of beer or whatever? Apparently beer and crawfish are like a staple.
Yeah, because they have to do this
This is not my
after.
area of expertise. I don't really like, but because, and one of the things we've talked about is even maybe letting them change their name, because it is associated, Gilmer ISD, it's really an educational foundation. And most educational foundations do, I mean, a lot of them will do a gambling night, you know, but apparently liquor brings in a lot of money.
Well, you don't start.
That's not a good reason.
Everyone's had it.
But really, Gilmer is not the same place it was 20 years ago. Is that a problem? Is that not a problem? Is it something they should consider? They're not gonna do it this year, but at least it's not really big money. So, what do you think?
BYOB. No
BYOB.
liability, the chief of police approves of
So
it.
there's liability issues too. Well, we don't even say BYOB. We pretty much say HYOB. It means hydro beer.
That's what we did. Well, it's funny because the minute, and this person, I won't say his name, I don't know how he found out, because we send it out to the district, and they don't even work for the district, but literally, it was sent out, and 5 minutes later, I get an email in my inbox, and it is, are you gonna have beer at the Crawfish Festival? I was like, oh my God, let me breathe. And so people do like it, so just to show of hands, I think it's okay, it doesn't bother you.
It doesn't
bother me. Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, you said your husband was big in this crawfish boil
Yes.
thing. Do they have beer to sell or go with the food?
It goes with the food, and they actually, it's, actually sponsored by, R&K. They're a big sponsor of the Harvest Festival, which is a liquor distribution, company out of Longview. And so they have kegs, and they, and it's one of the draws, to be honest with you. I don't aspire to do that because of the liability involved with that, but it is, people love it.
Really, I'm talking about the future. Is that
Yes.
something they can look into?
Yes.
Because my answer, just to let you know, is always gonna be, I don't drink. I don't know.
Yeah, so I do have another comment.
Yes, sir.
Not that it may be off the base, but anyway, it's this. I'm like him, I don't have any background in beer or whiskey, but if the liability is what we're thinking about, if we was just selling bunches of it, somebody might get inebriated and have a problem. What if the beer went as part of the ticket? You had a with beer ticket or you had a regular ticket. That way they'd have one can instead of 4 cans or
Something
whatever.
to think about here, sir. That's a good point, and we'll sure consider that. I appreciate that, thank you.
Well, nobody just told me to run out of town, so I don't know.
Well, it's like Mr. Alfred and I talk, we did have a bar dance on school property for years and years, it's crazy. I would tell people it was the only legal drunk you could have in Gilmer, but it was, we kept it pretty good, I think.
We did have it like at first bingo, we had alcohol. And you have to hire a policeman if you have alcohol, if you're serving alcohol. And, then we have our waiters watch, and if anybody starts getting inebriated, we cut them off. Because you don't want them, and then we serve coffee before they go home, because you don't want them to get in the car. But it's kind of your responsibility to watch them, and you can tell if they're drinking too much.
It's your insurance policy, and then you'll just, you can put the injury in it.
And we do take out an insurance policy every year. With anything I do, we do an insurance policy, because I'm a lawyer for brother. So anyway, but thank you, Mr. Alfred, and thank you all so much for having me. Are there any other questions about the Gilmer IC Foundation, or any suggestions you have for the Gilmer IC Foundation? And if we, like I say, if you'd like for me to come and meet with you, and help you with anything, please let us know. Just know that we're up and moving, doing a lot of great things. I'm excited about what's coming down the pipe. And please help us get the word out about this crawfish bowl, because it's only a success if the community gets behind us. And y'all did last year, and so we're hoping for the same thing this year. Thank you.